Hey guys, FIFA Vic here with episode 3 of my Leeds United manager mode. In today's video we're going to do some more wheeling and dealing in the transfer market, and we begin transfer deadline day as well in this video. Straight off the bat, guys, we get into a championship game against Blackburn Rovers, who are a pretty decent side. They've got some very good players, Jordan Rhodes, and the likes of, I've still got Robinson in net as well, ex-Leeds United player. So hats off to the old Leeds United boys. He was awesome for Leeds back in the day as well. And yeah, this was a really tight game. As you can see, we had a myriad of chances early doors, but unfortunately just could not get it in the net. It's another one of these games where we really were frustrated by the other team's defence and we just could not break through. We had a sending off right at the end of the game as well. Second bookable offence for Murphy. It was quite an innocuous thing, but 2 yellows equals red, so he had to go. Now, in the previous video, someone suggested that I pick up Miyake from Arsenal, and it was a great shout. He's a great player and he's very available, but unfortunately, no matter how I worked the budget, I could either not afford his salary or not afford his transfer fee. He was just like 200 grand too expensive, whichever way you want to look at it. So that one fell through, I'm afraid. We are going to go after the Augustino, who is a Barcelona B player as well. He was suggested in the comments as well, but as a replacement for Miyake, we're going to look for McManaman, and we're going to offer El Hadj Diouf and McManaman for half of McManaman's fee, and he wants the same salary as El Hadj Diouf, so it won't affect my wage budget at all, and I could pick up Callum McManaman for 700 grand and get Diouf off the books. Diouf has been playing down the right hand side for me anyway, so it's a perfect swap in my opinion. I think it's a brilliant bit of business. Really lucky how it came about, but I honestly think that is a fantastic transfer. You know, we're swapping a 30-year-old for a 22-year-old with loads of potential, the same current overall rating. I just think it's a brilliant bit of business. So hopefully, you know, that's all gets finalised after this game, and that transaction goes through. I think that's a great signing for the club. Augustino dude as well, I think he's accepted a contract thing as well, so he'll be in the squad for the next game as well. We get into this local derby in the Championship against Barnsley. Not the biggest like Leeds United derby, but still a Yorkshire derby all the same, and still a game that needs winning. In the previous episode, you will remember we picked up Hussein, who is from the Norwegian League. He's from the team that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer manages, I believe. We picked him up for $1 million, and he can play anywhere along midfield really, and he scored his debut goal in this game. We got a nice little lead. Barnsley got one back with Tudgai, but we did manage to cap the victory off with Smith coming off the bench. He's the really tall striker. He's like our equivalent of... He's like a really young Peter Crouch, if you like. Smith guy, and yeah, I'm sort of persevering with him off the bench every now and again, see what I can do with his overall rating, and he's a good plan B because he's so tall, you know. So these two deals for these two players, the Barcelona B guy, who's the CDM, and McManaman, didn't happen before the transfer deadline day. So what we're hoping is we get confirmation in transfer deadline day that it has all gone through correctly, and that is what happens, guys. We get the confirmation, we just need to do the accept on these two players. Both of them come through on deadline day, which is great. Honestly think Callum McManaman signing's a great bit of business. Big shout out to whoever commented and suggested Augustino. Hopefully that comes off nicely as well. Hopefully he turns out to be a great player. If you look at this screen here, you can see my squad. There's some fitness issues there and stuff, but what I'm showing you in that screen, feel free to pause it, roll back and pause it, but that is basically how I see my best 11 from what I have in this squad. We're not going to do any more signings now. We're coming to the end of transfer deadline day. What I did do though is all the players that aren't going to be a major part of the squad for this first half of the season, I've put them all up for short-term loans. And Alex Keynes is one of those players, and someone comes in for a short-term loan for him. you know, it's a win-win, guys, because he's not going to feature in the squad, hardly ever, if at all, and we're going to save some money on his salary, and he's potentially going to gain some experience as well. So deadline day closes without a hitch. We get those 2 signings nailed on, and we move on out of transfer deadline. And this is the squad now that we're going to have to progress with in the Championship, hopefully for the first half of the season. We play a Capital Cup game against York City, and we win it 1-0. I simulated that game. I'm going to be sporadically simulating games. I think it'll move the series on quicker. Obviously, starting this quite late in FIFA 14 terms in some ways, you know. Starting this now, a lot of people will have already done their manager modes. So I want to get into the later seasons, like 2, 3, 4, try and get Leeds back in the Champions League and all that good stuff. So that is the plan, guys. So I will be simulating some games. I also think it's a better test of how good a squad you've got and how good a manager you are if you simulate some games, because you're not in control of the actual players for simulated games. So you actually get to see how they get on when you're not pressing the buttons for them, you know. So that is that. We played this Championship game against Bournemouth. Unfortunately, only managed to win 1-0. We did dominate the game, though, so all's good in that respect. We're just going to simulate one more game. We got a very strong team out for this game against Derby. Obviously, Derby are flying in real life in the Championship, so we have to be on our guard. And we do come away with a draw and another goal for McCormack. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for supporting this series. I've been FIFA Vic. Bye-bye.